Welcome to Locked In, your source for college football intel. We want to give a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our channel this month. We've had a blast talking football with you. If you enjoy this video and want to see more great content, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Even more, share our videos with your friends. Again, thanks for being locked in.
Got Michigan up here.
So just from the offense, we can say obviously it's the Ohio State game. Here you're going to see Michigan in their answer to trips, to middle of the field setup. You got trips right. One of the basic spread sets. We're definitely going to see a lot of this tonight. And here is Michigan's answer to it. What do you see when you look at this?
You see a very intense and aggressive cover two man. That's what I would say it is. Say they're not playing too far, off the ball. I mean, they're about 5 yards, 6 yards. So I mean, they're not 10 yards away that scared. But I mean, they're gonna try to make contact with you within 5, and they're gonna try to play close without or throughout the play. And you see here, they play very close to Mr. Marvin Harrison, who was pronounced as the greatest college football wide receiver this year. And what happens? Well, they pick off Kyle McCord playing that close. I mean, I don't know if it's just Marvin Harrison being lazy or whatnot, but I mean, you wouldn't think it would be. I said, what you think is you get a jam here within 5 yards in that man coverage, and he just makes play on the ball when Kyle throws it to him, and that's just Michigan playing good defense. It's all you could say. I mean, you see Marvin takes that step inside, and that Michigan DB just goes right over top of him to get the ball. So there's
play like that strikes me as that cornerback knows exactly what's coming. So you have to think that, I mean, Michigan's going to have Alabama well scouted because he showed no worries standing there 5 yards off, very loose coverage because he knew exactly where Harrison was going, stepped in, took the ball like it was nothing. That's impressive.
Another thing, when you look at this, Marvin Harrison is obviously Ohio State's number one. There are a lot of people who would argue that he was their offense this year. And right before the snap, and you can see this safety, he bails out deep to give over top coverage Marvin Harrison. So they're really bracketing him. And then you have man down here. You have on the line of scrimmage contact. They only had two like real defensive lineman types. Their edges are like outside backers, and they, one of them down here on the bottom of the screen, he makes contact with a tight end, but up at the top, they're able to play this way because there's a worry about Marvin Harrison. I mean, clearly, he is Ohio State's offense in a lot of people's eyes. Michigan, they understand that, so they have one guy playing right up on him. They watch their film, they do a good job. So he takes that, he stays up on him. He takes this angle to try and get to this ball because he knows what's going on. And even if he misses, you still have a safety over top to try and recover. If that ball is missed by the DB and Marvin Harrison catches it, you're probably looking at a first down, but it should be at least covered by the guy up top. What'll be interesting for Alabama, or playing against Alabama does not have a Marvin Harrison Jr. that is just a standout. They have Burton and Bond, I believe, are their number one. I think they go back and forth between who would be considered wide receiver number one. But will we see Michigan play where they feel like they need to bracket one of them on a constant basis? Or are we going to see rotations as far as their coverage? Are they going to play more actual cover two where you get two guys deep and then it's just man up underneath? Are they going to bracket one person? It'll be interesting to see how they decide to play this, just because Alabama does not have the perceived threat of a true number one receiver the way Ohio State does.
So, yeah.
Before we move on, I would say that they also do a very good job of allocating their defenders on this. They have both sides of the field very well covered, and the linebackers in the middle are honestly free to make movement to either side. So if you look at this, look how quickly they have 3 defenders in the area of Harrison. That's pretty impressive on the single side of a trips play. So they got a good idea here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the linebacker is in the way of the out route. If this ball is not, if the route's not jumped the way the corner jumps it, then you have a linebacker who is hopefully trying to get there quick enough in the route in the middle of the route to make that play if it extends through, and then you have the safety over top like we talked about. Really good defense, good alignment.
Saying
they have leverage to both sides. I mean, that's a really, good for them. That's a really good idea.
saying they all do a really good job of keeping their eyes on the quarterback to see when and where that he's going to throw the ball. Because you see their linebacker and the corner immediately react to Kyle McCord's head movement and the throw.
Mm-hmm. Good observation.
Yeah, I would say it's really good, Michigan's defense. So I have a lot of faith in it later today. Say here, we'll just see JJ McCarthy making a great throw. I'll say this dude could hit the smallest window that you've ever seen. I'll say watch this play keep going. It'll show you an even better view. I mean, right over that dude's head and in between both of the two defenders right there. So that is a great ball. It's a controversial play, great ball. I mean, JJ McCarthy is special. I mean, you can't say otherwise. A lot of people don't like to give him credit. But I mean, I didn't either before watching all the film I've watched of him. But JJ McCarthy is legit. I think that he will be one of the key aspects in Michigan winning later today.
Ohio State fans, he was down.
I say, well, yeah, we'll say it. He is down, but it's okay. Say here again is just JJ McCarthy being able to extend plays, and also while extending plays, while on the run, while being pressured, place a ball, pinpoint on the sideline so his receiver can stay in bounds and get the first down. Say big time plays.
Something I want to mention before we move away from these couple of Michigan offensive plays. Both of these came from a variation of what we could call a shotgun wing T setup, whether it turns into a twins look on the left side on this particular play, or whether on the other you have, or a trips look, excuse me, you have a twins look with a single receiver on the other side. And what I think that the Michigan forces you to do right there, that you have to respect the ability that they have to run the ball out of these fronts. They have a great offensive line. They have a great running back. So they're lining up in tighter formations to make you commit the extra defender. And then they have a quarterback who can put one on a dime. That is really, really hard to contend with if you're a defense.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. And also you can see that Ohio State's also running man coverage. Saying Ohio State's defense isn't no slouch. I mean, you watched them against Missouri, which is a really good football team. They have a great defense, and they probably would have beat Missouri with a quarterback. And I'm not gonna lie, like their defense probably is one of the best, if not the best in the nation, in my opinion, just because they're athletes and the way they get to the quarterback. And you could see JJ McCarthy just being able to make plays even against this defense.
Coverage is good here. Pass rush is good here from Ohio State. They do everything correct on defense, other than disengaging a little bit down on the bottom of the screen to try and contain JJ in the pocket. They don't do that, so JJ's able to escape a little bit. Maybe a slight hold, but it's fine. No one's going to call that. And JJ has good pocket awareness. He has a good clock in his head, like we talked about with the Tennessee quarterback yesterday. This is really good play from JJ. He escapes. Comes out of the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, and then just makes an absolutely great throw. I mean, there's not very much you could do as defense here. He's right on top of him, and he just puts it like right out of bounds where his guy can go and get it. Fantastic play. I expect to see some very good throws from JJ in this Alabama game.
Yeah, and see, my point is like, if you're Alabama, how do you defend this? It's like, how can you be in a better position to defend this? Like, I honest to God, do not know how you could be in a better position to defend this.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, there
are some plays that are indefensible.
And Michigan seems to have a lot of them, and that's very rare. So they are an elite football team. Here, we're going to see the other side of the ball. You'll see Michigan running their man two over top. And Marv gets free on this one just by a little bit. And so dude reacts a little early, goes for Marv just so he doesn't score a touchdown. But, I mean, that's still good coverage, man on man, saying his safety don't even help him. So there's no help. They get to McCord. McCord steps up in the pocket. And the thing about this is when you see that rush get back there today against Alabama, do you think that Jalen Millroe is going to be stepping up into the pocket, looking downfield, and throwing the ball 40 yards to a wide open receiver that has been in man coverage? I said, that dude ain't even wide open. Marvin Harrison ain't even wide open, and he's the best wide receiver in college football. So, I mean, do you really think Jalen Milroe is going to do that? I said, I think it's more likely that Jalen Milroe tries to get a few yards. So I don't think you see a play like this today where he just escapes up the middle and just throws a dot. So I think what you see is Jalen Milroe try to get it 3 or 4 yards. That's about all he gets, if that.
You know, something on that too that's worth pointing out. Look how well that those defensive linemen broke off of the pass rush and just escorted the quarterback up the field. Watch these guys. Man, that is something else, and that is some heavy training because these guys come together. This middle linebacker is going to come up, and they're going to have 3 men pyramiding the quarterback if he tries to run the football right there.
Yeah, that's something I was going to point out. So your edge guys, they go around, they beat their guys. McCord does a good job stepping in the pocket, stepping away from the rush. That's his best lane here.
Yep.
One place to escape, he takes it. But then immediately the recognition from the DTs here to disengage, to funnel him up. And if he's gonna throw that ball or he's gonna take a big hit. So great job by their defense to disengage the correct way. And this is just a good play by Marvin and a good throw by McCord. The DB does, I don't know if he feels like he's more beat than he actually is. And he was scared that if Marvin catches that ball, he's going to beat him. So he went ahead and he pulled him down. So save the touchdown, live to fight another day. Totally acceptable. He actually had good position on this. So I feel like he didn't have to commit that PI, but he did. And they lived to fight another day. They're smart defense. You'll see that play from them all over the field.
I was say that's nothing to them. Here again, we'll see another play by Kyle McCord. That's just this little screen to Travion Henderson. And I mean, Michigan is coming at you. So they have you covered everywhere. So you have a running back come out the field, they see it. So they all see it. So it don't matter if you're a corner. Say, look at Michigan's corner right here. Corners aren't big. Corners are small. They're not known for hitting. And I mean, lays Travion Henderson out, who's not small. That dude's a good 220, 230. That dude is a load. And that you got this small corner over here who might be 180, 190 pounds, just comes and waylays, comes crashing down. So you don't see that from corners often. And I think it has to, you can give a testament to their cover two over top. Say you see, if you leave it there, Rev, you'll see this guy roll from his linebacker spot into a safety spot, covering his half of the field along with number 9 over here, and this safety stepping up. And that gives the corner the freedom to come up and make a play on the running back and not have to worry about the receiver lined up on him right here to beat him over top because he has help.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was going to point that very same thing out. How they roll their coverage a little bit. They leave the safety that's in the middle of the field. He stays in that zone while the outside backer gets depth to take that deep threat away, and so the corner can play free. Also, just really good recognition right here from the corner. His eyes are right where they need to be. He can see the receiver is crossing his face, but he knows he has help behind him, so he's not really that concerned with it. He's looking at the quarterback. He sees the rollout from the running back here, and as soon as that ball leaves McCord's hands, he instantly puts his foot in the ground and he goes and takes it. He also good angle. He's outside hitting in, and he knows, hey, if I miss this, if something happens here where I don't, this guy bounces off of me, I have which was the safety who rolled down. I have a backer and another safety on my inside that are going to help clean this up if for some reason, I don't lay this guy out on my own. So just good angles, good eyes, good footwork, and just good defense all around.
Yeah,
and again, you see something that calls back to the earlier pass play whenever they funneled McCord in and followed up the field to keep him from running. Even when we saw the pass to Harrison on the first clip we showed, Michigan is very intentional about leveraging the receivers to both sides. And that I think that honestly, if right now my thought is if I were going to teach a defense, this is the team that I would use to teach it with.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at this, it's not just that the cornerback comes up and feels the, has the confidence that he can make this play. He's also got this linebacker who's coming in to help him. He's got a safety over top. 5 people are closing in on this ball carrier. There is no way he picks up a first down right here. And I think just simply watching these two, the corner who makes the tackle and the defender, number 29, it looks like, or 25, who comes in on his inside, there is no place for Henderson to go with the football. No place whatsoever.
Which honestly, I think this is actually a Tampa 2 defense that they're running here, and that's even more of a testament to Michigan because you see that safety stay in the deep middle part of the field, and if it was man, I would say the corner would have the running back technically because you see a wide receiver and a tight end, so technically it's not man. This is actually a Tampa 2, which makes this even more impressive.
This is something we talked about in regards to Iowa's defense, and they had a good defense this year. Iowa plays good team defense, and they don't have a lot of studs on their defensive side. They don't have a lot of studs anywhere, so they have to play good, sound defensive football and team defense. Michigan, they do have studs. They have some absolutely massive playmakers on both sides of the ball, but they don't just rely on their big players making big plays on defense. They also play great team defense, and you can see that with the way that they play. They play with confidence that they have guys behind them. They have guys to their left. They have guys to their right that are all going to do the right things. This is drilled correctly, in the offseason. This is practiced perfectly. This is good. This is good film study, good technique. All the right things are being taught here. All the right things are being executed by Michigan's defense. It just overall, as Locke said, this is a amazing picture of a combination. Great technique, great defense, great scheme, and also just really good play.
Yeah, and it's a good hit. See,
and a great hit.
It's a really good hit. Let's say here you'll see actually one thing I don't like about Michigan, and that is these two linebackers right here just making the wrong play. I'm gonna say we've talked about it before, and one step will kill you as a linebacker. One wrong step will kill you as a linebacker. So we've talked about it. It happens here. There's just no outside contain. I don't know if it's just one-off play, but these linebackers step in because I think it's because this tight end. You'll see this tight end go in, but it's more honestly like just a zone blocking scheme. So I mean, honestly they see them step left. They shouldn't be stepping here. Say they both do. You should honestly see them stepping more to the right than they do and getting outside and coming down. But that's just not what happens. Say I don't like this play. I think that if Alabama wants to do something, they could probably run some option with Jalen Millroe and Roydell Williams here with Roydell off the edge and have Jalen looking in B gap or C gap to just keep it. So, I mean, that is something to look at because Jalen Millroe can run. And, I mean, Michigan honestly hasn't really seen anybody run the ball from quarterback this year. So, I mean, I think that'll be an interesting matchup for their defense, and we'll see what they do with that. But there is weaknesses sometimes to the Michigan defense.
Yeah, the defensive end here on the top of the screen, he doesn't get cracked or anything by that receiver who's lined up outside of him. He engages with that offensive lineman. And I mean, Michigan elects to have skinnier, quicker athletic types on the defensive end. They don't have big bruisers. They don't have guys that you'll see typically take on offensive linemen with ease. I mean, these guys are more outside backer type when it comes to build and body. And you get your hands on a guy like that when you're an offensive lineman or you're a big tight end. You're going to have issues. And I don't like the way that he goes and attacks the body of that outside blocker there. I'm not a fan of that just because you can see what happens is, he gets stuck inside. Now his expectation is, well, okay, I've got a corner on the outside of me and I have backers behind me that should be flowing to this. But as you can see, backers take their reach step inside, they get sucked in just for a second, and they're out of position here where that back can then make them hurt. great job on the blocking, pushing that defender into the linebacker. That right side linebacker does a very bad job with his steps. He should be getting into that hole that you're seeing here between that receiver who's blocking and another white jersey. He should be getting in that hole and trying to get to that edge, but he doesn't. And if that's what the call was here, where that end is supposed to crash down a little bit and that backer's supposed to get outside, that's fair enough. So either the defensive end was wrong or the linebacker was wrong, one or the other. But even with a busted play per se, not sound defense, this play only goes for what, 10 yards.
And honestly, I would chalk that up to that corner being in good position. Say he attacks the outside shoulder of their receiver right here, and in order to do that, he runs their running back to the sideline, and he doesn't get any more yards. Say, he could have gotten a lot more out of that if he wasn't touched.
And also a benefit of having two safeties. You have two guys in the back of the defense who are able to help on busted plays. They're able to help on run support. They're able to make sure on deep passing plays they're not able to get those completions because they're over the top covering. So Michigan likes that two safety look for good reason. It's effective, especially for their defense. So you're not gonna see them give away too many big plays because they don't allow that with the way they scheme things up.
Everyone here at Locked In wants to say thank you to all of you who have subscribed to, liked, and commented on our channel. We've had a blast bringing great college football analysis to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to share your thoughts, we'd love to see your comments. Till next time, stay locked in.